All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, it's Brian Kaz here, joined by my friend and business partner, Sean Casey. We have another Wednesday marketing webinar for you today. And on this one, will kind of be in two parts. So most of it will be basically the answers to a bunch of questions that we had you guys send in. So we got a variety of questions there. And of course, if you have new questions that pop up, there's time at the end to ask those. So you can feel free to type in those now, and we'll be happy to answer as many as we can. And then towards the end, I'll also show off a new feature that we basically added to one of the tools inside of WebFire that was just actually added, I think only like a few days ago or so. So I'll show off that and explain what you can do there. So just want to keep you guys up to date on that. Now, we did get a bunch of questions sent in. There were a couple questions that would be almost like basically trainings all by themselves. So some of those we might save for basically future calls themselves, because there was at least like one or two that really there was no short way to basically answer. They want to see like basically a demonstration of something from start to finish and stuff like that, where the process itself would take probably like the whole call. So we'll save some for some future calls there, but this one we basically have a bunch of questions that we have some fairly easy answers that most of you would probably also find useful. So and once again, if you have any other questions or anything that pops up, feel free to ask those. So without further ado, we can get the show on the road. So once again, these calls are every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is right about now, where we'll have a live training and or Q&A call. If you're here or you're registered for this series, you'll get a reminder each week, so don't forget. If you can't make one, we'll have the recordings in the members area, usually within about a day or so of any of the calls, under the training tab on the left side navigation bar. So you click on the training, then you click on the Wednesday calls, and you'll see them all there with the most recent ones at the very top. With the most recent one will be at the top, but you'll see basically the titles and names of each of the trainings, and you can actually search through those as well, because there's obviously a lot of those there now, and a lot of questions that you guys had too. In a lot of cases, we actually covered on some prior calls and stuff. So if there's a topic of interest to you, make sure you definitely check the training there first, because some of you asked certain questions that we had entire calls devoted to just that. So make sure that you check there first. And of course, if you want a chance to win $100 at the end of this call, make sure to join our free Facebook group at getwebfire.com/FB group. If you're not a free member of that, you can just go to that link right there. It'll forward to the Facebook group, click join, and you should be approved within like a few minutes if you basically do so now. And towards the end of this call, we'll give you instructions on what to do to get a chance to win $100 in a live drawing that we'll do towards the very end of this call here. Now, let's move on to our training for this week on where we'll basically be answering questions that you sent in. So again, we'll go through the questions you guys sent in and give answers. Then we'll do a demo of a new WebFire feature. One of the video tools we've had has been redone and has some new stuff added. So I'll kind of show off some stuff there and what changed and why, and some stuff that we should have out very soon as well. We'll also talk about that. Then we'll have a Q&A if there's any other questions or anything that you guys have, and then we'll do the drawing. So question number one, we had two people ask, and I basically paraphrased a lot of the questions here, because some were sent in from multiple people, or needed to basically be paraphrased a bit. But at least two guys asked, what are your thoughts on using a subdomain versus a normal domain? So first, I'm sure there's a couple of you that are probably asking, well, what is the difference? What is a subdomain? So a subdomain is basically where your website looks like keyword.domain.com, where keyword can be anything you want, and the domain would be like, your normal domain name. So a subdomain would be keyword.domain.com, whereas a normal domain would just be domain.com. And my thoughts with that are, technically any subdomain you have is kind of treated like a separate domain almost. Sometimes there's like a little authority that's carried over to the main domain, but I find that Google and the other search engines oftentimes prefer normal domain names. They tend to favor those a bit more. Now there's always exceptions to the rule with that, but if you think of it from Google's perspective, if someone's trying to go the cheap route and let's say get like one domain name and have like 100 subdomain names for each of their sites, Google basically sees that and says, well, if this guy didn't spend $7 to $10 a year to get his own domain, do we really want to value what he says? Is there stuff of real value on that site? And in a lot of cases, the answer would be, well, 9 times out of 10, probably not as much. Now, of course, you might be one of the exceptions there, but think about it. If someone's trying to like spam the search engines, are they likely to buy 100 domain names or just buy one with like 100, subdomain names? So oftentimes what spammers would do is they'd buy like, one domain and get like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of subdomains. And that used to actually work years and years and years and years ago, not as much now. And I think because of all that is one of the main reasons why, again, a normal domain name just looks better. And on top of that, it's easier to actually target, different keywords, niches on a domain name. Because realistically, if you have like 100 subdomain names, it's harder to, make sure that the domain name kind of looks like and reflects the keywords you're trying to rank for. Now, again, there are exceptions. Like, you'll probably know that if you go to blogger.com, they actually kind of offer a free subdomain name, but that's owned by Google, and they kind of know what that is, and they give more authority to their site versus like a normal subdomain that they don't know. But even then, for like $10 a year, you can upgrade that to a normal domain name yourself, which I recommend you do, at some point there, if you do have like a blogger blog or anything like that, because it just looks better and it tends to give you better results as well. And we're not really talking about a ton of dough. We're talking about like, $7 to $12 a year to get your own domain there. So it's not like you're having to risk a lot or anything like that. So related to that, we had at least one ask, what are your thoughts on different types of domain extensions, like .com versus .net? I think we even had one ask on like localized, extensions like I think like .co.uk or .com.au or ones like that. And here are my thoughts on that and what I've seen. So the number one thing I'd caution against is getting a very, very cheap domain extension like .info. There's a lot of people that say, oh man, I can get the first year for 99 cents for a .info. And they'll spend thousands of dollars trying to build up a nice site, making a product, getting all this stuff, and then they buy a 99-cent .info domain, which just, in my opinion, and from what I've seen on Google, kind of makes it look like crap. It's kind of like, if you spend, if you're making a car, okay, and you spend $50,000 on the inside of the car, making it super nice, super luxurious and everything, do you put, a crappy outer shell on it that would be on like maybe a $5,000 car, or do you put a really nice one on it? If you want it to sell, you want a really nice one. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to sell that really expensive, car if it looks like crap on the outside, even if it's super nice on the inside. That's kind of what that means. And again, I think Google and all those guys kind of know that the .info names are cheap, and oftentimes, I think the logic is, hey, if you can't put more than $1 into your business, you probably don't have anything of value that they want to really show. Again, not always fair, but it is what it is, and in a lot of cases, they're probably right. Now, as far as .com versus .net and .org and all that, I think those three are the top ones of the normal domain extensions. So .com, .net, and .org. But with that, I highly favor .coms. The only exception there is if there's like a very good keyword domain that's short and sweet, and you can get a .net or a .org, and you can't get the .com, by all means, go for the .net, or the .org. But if it's if you can get the same keyword or comparable keyword domain on the .com, definitely try to go for the .com there. Now, it's not to say that you can't rank a .net or a .org. You definitely can, and they're far better than like a .info. But I see a favor given to .coms. Now, of course, if you had to choose between a domain that's 7 words long on a .com versus 1 or 2 words on a .net or .org, I'd go for the .net or .org in that case. Same if you had to have extensions, which I haven't had a guy ask that this time, but I've had people ask that in the past. They've asked what are your thoughts on basically dashes in domain names? And again, I find that in the past several years, Google tends to favor domain names without dashes, but if it's a very good keyword, the dash is okay to go for, if that's the only one available. So it doesn't mean you can't rank, it just means without the dash has a slight preference, but if there's a very good keyword phrase that only has the dash, that's perfectly fine, especially for the .com. Now, as for the local extensions, I think it's .com.au for Australia. I think the UK is .co.uk or something like that. Local ones like that can be great if your only goal is to rank locally, in basically the country. If that is your goal, that can work well. If you're trying to work on if you're trying to rank on a global scale, I would highly recommend the .com. Now, let's say you're a bakery in London, the .co.uk, great idea. Okay, especially if you can get a very good keyword, which you probably can't get on the .com, that's perfectly fine. But if you're trying to rank for something that you want to sell on a global scale, bad idea, because you'll probably only have an easier chance of ranking on a local scale, but not global. Kind of just the way it works, because the way that Google and those guys, I think is hey, if you have a localized domain, chances are you're not looking to do business on a global scale, so we shouldn't rank you for a global search or for a search done outside of basically your country. So that's just a few things to keep in mind right there. But rule of thumb, don't always go for the cheapest option there when it comes to domain extensions. And again, we're only talking about $10 a year or so here. And of course, if you're trying to look for a good keyword domain name or stuff like that, we do have inside of WebFire the domain keyword tool, which can help you search for ones that are currently available that you can snatch up. So that's a great tool to take advantage of and use there. All right, question 3. We've had a couple guys ask this, and that is, what is your favorite platform for websites? We also had some ask, what do you think of Blogger versus WordPress or versus HTML sites? I personally don't have a favorite myself, because I tend to actually outsource a lot of that stuff. We have a graphic guy that normally would just do either an HTML site or might do a modified version of WordPress. However, I do think if you're brand new and you're not a tech person at all, I'd recommend blogger.com, just because it's super easy. And I've had plenty of sites that rank well. And it's one of the first sites that I ever had was through Blogger itself. So it's super easy. I can get a site up and running in a matter of like a couple minutes. It literally is, you click a button, you click the template you want, and you're done. Or I should say you have to pick a name too. But again, you're done, and you can get like posting and making pages and doing blog posts and all that literally within like a minute or two. So it's super easy. So if you're not a tech person, you can definitely do that. And again, we have the SEO plugins to help, if you go with the blog, as well as we have stuff to help if you go with the standard HTML site as well. If you're trying to build like, a serious big site and, you want to look like a professional and all that, I would kind of lean towards an HTML site for two reasons. One, hackers oftentimes tend to like basically target WordPress and stuff. So if you're trying to go big, HTML has like an advantage there. And also, you're not limited to much there, and you can have a graphic guy do almost anything you want. But at the end of the day, does it really matter what platform you use? Realistically, no. But the preferences I have, I basically mentioned. But if you're basically stuck and you're thinking which one's the best, just pick one. Or if you're brand new, I just go with Blogger to start with. And maybe down the line, once you grow bigger, you can basically change it up from there. But definitely, if you're brand new, I just start with Blogger. If you have a decent business, and have some funds and all that, I wouldn't even bother trying to like mess around or make a website myself. I would just outsource it at that point. Of course, if you're brand new or you don't have those funds, again, just start on Blogger. So that's my advice with that. So question 4, a person asks here, they said, on a prior call, we talked about creating lots of web pages to rank for multiple keywords, like different local terms or product types. They asked, how do you go about that? So there's 2 different kinds of questions asked here. So one person asked specifically about local terms, like let's say you have a business, in the Madison, Wisconsin area, and I'm from there, and there's a lot of suburbs and towns and stuff around that basically are considered like almost Madison, even though they're like just outside, because they might be like a 15-minute drive to Madison itself. And if you're like a local business, you don't care if the person's in a suburb just outside of Madison, or if they're downtown. In a lot of cases, you probably serve all those places, but someone might search for like roofer in Madison, Wisconsin, or roofer in Verona, Wisconsin, or Middleton, or Cross Plains, or wherever it might be, like some place around there. And oftentimes when you try to target keyword to rank for, you only, like, for every page you have, it's easier to target basically like a single keyword phrase versus like 10. So if you have, let's say you have 5 different like suburbs or towns and stuff that you or your client basically would work in or get essentially prospects from, you can have a separate web page for each one. Now, note, I'm not saying a separate website. Okay, a website is different than a web page. A web page is a single page on a website. So a single website can have anywhere from 1 page to 1 million pages. Of course, that'd be like crazy excessive. But typically most websites have at least like 5 to 10 pages or so on them. And what you can do in this case is every page that you have, you can say, you can have a page that has like a title of, roof replacement in Madison, Wisconsin, and have some info on that. And then on another one, say roof replacement, in Cross Plains, Wisconsin, and have like almost the exact same page on that, where you're trying to rank individually each of the pages there. And all you would do is you just ask either your designer to make a separate page for each one, or if you have like a simple like blogger type blog, every blog post you have, which would be treated almost like a separate web page, you can have in the title be the keyword you're trying to rank for. Now, on a similar note, there was a person asking how to create multiple pages for different products. So let's say you're a store, okay, and you sell 20 different products. Okay, you don't want to have a single page that just lists all the products there and that's the only thing that they see. Now, it's great to have that too, but you want to have for every product you sell a separate page for just that product there. And on that separate page, you want to make sure that the name of the product and all that, you try to actually target in your title tag, or target as the title, you know, of your web page or of your blog post and stuff like that. So every page or every product you have would be a separate page. On a similar note, let's say you're a lawyer, okay, and you specialize in like 4 different kinds of law. So let's say you do real estate law, let's say you do immigration law, and let's say you also do, I don't know, some kind of, I think I said real estate law or something like that. I don't know, whatever kind of legal stuff a lawyer does. You would have for everything that you specialize in, you'd have a separate page basically talking about just that, because that would increase your chances of ranking specifically for that page right there. So it's as easy as just literally making a new page, you know, on your website for each of those keywords right there. So don't overthink that. There's nothing like, there's not like a secret trick to it, or, you know, anything like that. Just again, new page for each one. On that note, we also had another person asked, saying that they're confused on how to change a title tag and how to get their FTP. How exactly is that done? Well, there's an easy way and a hard way. So the hard way is you can literally change the code on your HTML site, and you can change the title tag. And I won't get into that because, again, if you really want to go the hard way, you can basically Google, you know, how to change, you know, my title tag in my HTML, and it will show you how to do that. Now, realistically, I don't do that myself. It's not terribly hard, but, you know, it's not something that I want to basically do. But so the easier way is basically a few things. One, if you have a blog, okay, you can use the SEO plugin that WebFire has, and it will automatically turn the title of your blog post into that web page title tag. So in that case, you don't have to do anything fancy. You don't even have to know FTP at that point. You just have to literally change the name of your blog post to be the title that you want, and it will automatically turn that into the title tag for you. Now, if you have a normal website that's not a blog, we actually have a couple ways that you can easily do that inside of WebFire. One is through a tool we have there called SEO configuration. Literally, you will click that, then you'll click if you have an HTML site, which is what a lot, you know, if you don't have a blog, you would have that, or if you have a blog. Now, if you click on the blog, it will prompt you to basically get the plugin that will fix all that. If you have a standard HTML site, it will basically then ask you for your FTP info, which is a username and password. Now, how do you get that? You go to your host, and in the help files or on Google, you look up how to get my FTP info from whatever your host is. And it literally will tell you how to find that info. It will be posted inside your hosting account. It will have your username and your password for your what's called FTP, and you just literally copy and paste that in. That allows basically the tool to access your site, and then it will walk you through what to do right there and help change that for you. It will show you what your title tags are and all that, and you can change them on the spot right there. But as far as how to find your FTP, it can vary depending upon the host that you have. But again, just do either a Google search for how to get my FTP from whatever your web host name is, or within your web host, just search for, you know, how to get FTP, and it should list it right there. So don't overthink that one. Question 6, which I thought was a great one, is should I use a redirect for my affiliate link? and how do I set one up? So a redirect is basically, it's usually just like a shorter link that goes to your affiliate link. Most affiliate links, especially if you have like an Amazon one, don't look the prettiest. They'll be like, you know, website.com/1115/, you know, AFF/1115 P679821, you know, XYZ. And I mean, it looks like an affiliate link. Doesn't look the prettiest, can be really, really long. Now, it's not all that bad if you, like, let's say you post your affiliate link on like a blog post of yours. You can highlight a keyword, click link within like blogger.com or WordPress, and turn it into a link where you don't necessarily have to do a redirect. It's not like people necessarily see your link. They'll just click on the highlighted keyword, and that would be, you know, your link. But if you're posting a raw link itself, or, you know, and there's other reasons why you'd want to use a redirect, like sometimes if you have, you know, an affiliate link, you know, like a promo that you send in like an email and stuff like that, it can hurt your deliverability at times a little bit if they don't like the domain. But for what a redirect does in that case is you can have a shorter link, like, you know, tinyurl.com / you know, Brian for, you know, your link. So you can have it super, super short. Now, if you're serious, I recommend having your own domain set up to be a redirect. And a lot of hosts and a lot of domain registrars and stuff allow you to easily, from within their panels or within their control panel, to set up a redirect very, very easily. And again, if you either just essentially Google how to do it with that host, or look in the help files of that host, they'll tell you exactly how. And it literally is usually you pick your domain and then you paste in the affiliate link that you want. If you want a super easy way and you just want to make it look shorter, you can go, there's lots of services out there that are free, that have free redirects. One is tinyurl.com. And if you just go to that, like if you just go to tinyurl.com, they have a little text box at the top of the page where you paste in your affiliate link, and it will turn it into a shorter link for you right there that you can use as a redirect, and then you paste that anywhere you want. So that's super, super easy right there. But as you grow, you know, again, I'd recommend your own one eventually. But, you know, if you just want to make it look short to start out, that's one way to go about it right there. All right. Question number 7 was, how do I find something of value to give away for free to get leads? And my first initial reaction here is, you know, I thought the person was overthinking, because they weren't sure how to find or create something of value to give away to get leads. And if you truly can't find anything, you're either thinking way too hard, not doing any work, or you're in a niche where, you know, there's not really people that want anything, which there's not a lot of niches that are that bad there. So like if you're in, like, let's say you're in the financial markets, okay, and you deal with basically stocks and stuff, okay, you might have a program that you sell for like $1,000, or some software tool that you sell for like, you know, $1,000, or you might have a service that you know, that takes like management fees and stuff like that, but you know, it's very hard to get a guy to fork over a lot of money, especially if it's like a cold lead. But it's not nearly as hard to give something of value away for free. Like it might be, you know, you could write a report like it could be the 5 stocks that Warren Buffett you know, recommends that are absolutely killing it right now. And again, that doesn't have to take like a lot of research, a lot of times to actually make. It could even be like a 1 or 2 page report, or even a blog post or an email or anything you want. And literally, you could research almost any answer like that within like a half hour to like an hour tops. You could have it written within a couple hours tops on almost any topic that you want, and that has tremendous value. Because like if I'm looking to, you know, invest money or anything like that, and I happen across your ad or your offer to see like, hey, the 5 stocks, of Warren Buffett that, are absolutely killing it right now, I'll probably be like, I wonder what those ones are and what the info of that is and what price they're currently at now. And I'd probably be likely to say, okay, I'll trade my email address for this info right here. And of course, if I find that the information's good, you can try to sell me into whatever program or software or whatever you have right there. Another thing that you can do as well is, on top of creating a product yourself, that again, don't overthink this because this doesn't have to be hard. You can also find people out there that you can interview in your niche that you think prospects or people in that niche would be interested in hearing from. You can even pay those people a little bit to do a quick interview, or you could also on the extreme end, you can even offer a free service, like a free website analysis or a free Facebook ad account analysis or anything like that, as a way to kind of lead in to your paid service. So again, don't overthink that part at all. And in fact, the person that asked this, if you have a specific product or service that you have in mind that you're not sure on what to give away for a free, feel free to mention that, in the chat box here. And if myself or Sean sees that, we'll try to answer that either now or later on in the call as soon as you post that up. Because literally almost any niche that you can think of, I guarantee there's probably at least like a dozen things off the top of anyone's head that you could probably give away for free and be perfectly fine. So don't overthink that. It doesn't have to be like, a 100-page report. It doesn't have to be like, a brand new software tool or anything like that. Now, is that cool if you're able to, make software and, able to have a cool offer? Sure, but you don't need it, especially to start with. So again, anything of value that you'd be willing to give away your email to get for free is a good incentive. And the better you make the free offer, the more likely you are to convert better and get more leads, and also probably get a lot more of those leads to turn into buyers. If you give something away that isn't all that good, not only will you get less guys opting in, but they'll probably be less excited and less likely to buy from you later. Question 8 was, how do you find good affiliate offers? Now, this depends on the niche that you are in. If you're looking for like what's currently hot now, what's selling now, a good thing that you can do, and this works like regardless if you're looking to be an affiliate or in some cases if you're looking to drop ship stuff, depending upon what you want to do. If you're just looking to be an affiliate, you can go to a site like clickbank.com and you can search through their affiliate offers right there. And you can search by and see, what the best sellers are, what ones have the most affiliates. And you can see like which ones not only are selling a lot, but are paying a good cut too at the same time right there. On the Amazon side, you can search by any keyword and sort by the best sellers there as well. You can be an affiliate for anything on Amazon. You can also too, if you have an idea of like, let's say a product that you think would be in high demand, especially one that's like a higher price affiliate offer that might pay more, you can search for the keyword like, let's say you want to be affiliate for mopeds. You could search for like moped affiliate sign up or moped affiliate offer or something along those lines, and just search in Google and you'll probably find a handful of private affiliate programs that you can sign up for right there. But you want to make sure that you don't just sign up for anyone. You want to make sure that the cuts that they give are actually decent and worthwhile. There's a place that gives like, a 1% cut, of like $1,000. Okay, kind of nice, but $10 for $1,000 in my mind isn't really a good trade, especially compared to ones that pay much more, or ones that pay reoccurring affiliate income as well. Because oftentimes it's just as hard to promote a product that pays more or product that pays you a reoccurring affiliate income as it is to promote a product that pays you like $1 or $2. So keep that in mind as well. Now, if you're looking to drop ship and you're looking for, hey, what sells well, what works there, you can search the same thing. You can search on Amazon and see what's selling right now, sort by best sellers, and then you can go to a site like AliExpress, which is like a sister site of Alibaba, but on AliExpress, you can drop ship like usually one product at a time. And you can sort by, or you can search by any keyword you want, and then sort by, the best sellers in the topic that you just searched on, or the keyword that you just searched on. So you can see what products are selling a ton, and you can compare to what they sell on AliExpress to what they sell on Amazon. And in a lot of cases, you might find products that are like a half to a third the price of Amazon that are selling really well, that you might think, well, gee, that's probably a good product that I could drop ship on, or that's a good product that I could maybe list on Amazon, or a good product that I could maybe do a Facebook ad on to try to drive some traffic to, especially if the margins are really, really good. Like there's a lot of cases where you might find products for like $1 or $2, which include the shipping, that you can turn around and sell for 10 to 20 bucks, and you might be considered a cheap offer. So definitely keep that in mind. Right there. All right, question number 9. What's the quickest way to see if an offer or a niche as a whole might be worthwhile to pursue? And also, what's the best way to start and grow that then? Well, first and foremost, my rule of thumb is use a little common sense to start with. So a lot of people I find, as simple as it sounds, they think the opposite. And what I mean by that is they tend to think that if there's a no-name niche that no one else is in and they can't find anyone else selling anything, they think that's good because they think they'll be the #1 guy in that niche. And although there are always exceptions to the rule, and you might find an obscure niche that no one knows about now that maybe might have a handful of buyers that could be worth a lot of money to you, but chances are if no one else is in that niche, if no one's selling, that means that there's probably not a lot of money in it. Whereas if there's a niche that has like lots of sellers, that tells you that, hey, most likely that's a niche where there's a lot of money and a lot of people buying stuff. So even though there's competition, you can get in. Because let me ask you guys a question. How many diet and weight loss products do you think are out there? Do you think the first guy that had the idea to make a weight loss pill or a weight loss book or an exercise bike, you think he's like, oh man, I found this new niche, no one else is in it, so I'm going to make a diet pill. And then the next guy is like, oh man, I had this awesome idea for a pill that could lose tons of weight fast, but I see there's another guy selling tens of millions of dollars worth, and that sucks. He has that market. I'm going to go and start underwater basket weaving instead because no one's in that niche, and I'm going to dominate that, be the best seller, the #1 ranked guy, and anyone that wants a guide on how to weave baskets underwater are going to buy from me because I'll be the first guy there. Okay, that's how a lot of people think, but it's really the dumbest thing you could possibly do, because if there's a market where, like, if you see a guy doing tens of millions of dollars, that A, it's possible, B, there's a lot of buyers there, and C, it's not like the majority of markets there don't have a cult following a single buyer. I mean, if you're looking for, like, let's say a weight loss product, chances are you'll probably buy several of them. You won't buy only one. You'll probably try a dozen different things. You'll probably try different pills, different guides, different kinds of diets, different kinds of exercise machines. You might not even use half of them, but you're in the market and you're trying to buy tons and tons of different solutions to possible problems that you have. So even though there might be competitors there, there's lots of buyers that are oftentimes repeat buyers that are looking to buy a lot. So first and foremost, always see, are there others in the market? And if there are, that's probably a good sign right there. Secondly, after you determine that, hey, most likely there appear to be buyers there, and most likely, it's a decent sized market, what you can then do to see, hey, is the specific offer you have a good one? Can you get leads at like a decent opt-in rate? Or if you're advertising, can you get them at a decent price? Instead of making an entire product and everything first, just have an opt-in page for a free offer. related to that niche and maybe advertise that, okay? Or if you have a list, mail that list. Or if you don't have a list, pay for a Facebook ad, or post it up online, or use WebFire to help drive some traffic, or whatever you want right there, and see how that converts. If you find that, hey, I have an offer and I find that I'm getting leads for $2 a pop, which is probably really, really great. Especially if they're good leads from good countries and all that. That tells you that, hey, you might have an offer that's kind of hot there. Even though you're not making any money off it yet because it's just a free offer, it tells you, hey, there's some traction there. Whereas if you find that, hey, hardly anyone's taking me up on my free report or my free offer, that tells you one of two things. Either your offer really sucks, in which case you have to go back and see, hey, did you really make a good offer? Is it really an appealing offer? Can you do anything to make it better? And if so, make it better and try again. And it can be as easy as changing basically, the headline or the title. And if you find that, you think you have the best offer out there and you're still barely getting any leads from, your opt-in page, or it costs you like $100 a lead for a free offer, that tells you that, hey, maybe that's a harder niche to get into. Maybe the exact offer you have isn't really appealing enough, and you might want to rethink stuff. But if you have an offer where you're just saying, hey, I'm getting leads for $2 a pop for every 10 guys that come to my site, 3 to 5 of them are opting in. That's great. That basically tells you, hey, you have some traction there. And then the next step that you would do is then have an upsell offer, build an upsell offer out, like some kind of a paid offer, probably on the cheaper end, maybe $7 to $17 or so, or something in that range where it's not terribly expensive, and try to have that as an upsell and see if there's any people that are basically taking you up on that. See if there's any people that are buying that. Or if you have a product that's basically cheap enough, you can sell it on the front end too, and see if, hey, out of 100 clicks that you get, how many of them are actually buying that. If you get any that buy that, or basically any that take you up on an upsell, that tells you that, hey, there's some more life in it. You don't have to make a profit immediately, because after you see that, then you can kind of build out the funnel even more and say, hey, maybe instead of the first upsell being a $7 offer, I can also have a second upsell or a third upsell in there, and try to go for a $50 price point or a $100 price point, and then that's how you start to kind of build and grow that. And then over time, you might say, hey, this is actually working. I see some traction. I'm making some money here. Maybe I want to think of a high price point product that I can offer on the back end through like a webinar or like a replay, and I can email these leads on it and try to sell a high priced offer like that. And then once you build out and grow like that, you can really start to make a lot more and grow it faster. Whereas if you do all that at the start before you even test it, you can waste a lot of time and money before you know if it's really working or not. So you can kind of slowly basically grow it in phases like that. And that's how you get to huge growth. Because if you find that, with a couple upsells, you're making a profit on that, when you add more on it and you add, the higher price point back ends and stuff like that, you can drastically, improve how much you can grow. And then at that point, it's just a question of sending more traffic there, whether it be, free stuff that you do through WebFire, or partners that you find, or paid, marketing that you can do through like Facebook ads and stuff like that. It's just a question of growing it at that point. And the last question here was, how can I double my sales the easiest way possible? So if you have an existing business, this person wanted to know what would be the easiest way to double their sales the easiest way possible. Well, it depends upon what your offer is, what your price point is, how you get your prospects. But there's typically one of two ways. Okay, if you don't want to mess around with the front end offer or your main offer, the easiest way is to add some upsells in there, as well as make sure you take advantage of the leads that you have. Make sure to follow up with those leads. Make sure to have additional, offers and stuff that you can email those leads on. And just by having like one or two upsells, you can easily double or triple your sales in a lot of cases, especially if you have a follow-up series afterwards, where if you've never mailed those leads prior, you can find that you can get a lot more value out of those leads. And I find that probably 90% of businesses out there don't really take advantage of their leads, and they oftentimes don't really do upsells well either. So that's probably one of the easiest ways. The other way too is I find that oftentimes people sell stuff for a lot less than they should. So just by raising your price, you might find that you can make a lot more. In fact, I was actually talking to a person not too long ago that wanted to sell a course that they had for $97. And I thought it was a really good course. I thought it would make a lot of dough. But I said, hey, this is worth more than $97. And the way you're selling it, you'd probably sell just as many if you charged 5 times that or even 10 times that. And then they hesitantly charged 3 times that and found that they got almost just as many sales, but 3 times the amount of money. So almost the same amount of people bought, but they made 3 times as much. And then they later charged $500, and then eventually I think that they actually moved it to $1,000, and they found every single time, each time they increased the sale of that, they found that the amount of money that they made went up. Even if they lost a handful of buyers, the amount of money that they'd make would go up. Now, that's not always possible to do. Like, let's say you sell basically like a shirt. Okay, it's much harder to say, hey, I'm selling a shirt for $30. I'm going to charge $500 for that same shirt. That's probably a bit more tough because people have like an idea in their head of what they think a shirt's worth. But especially for digital products and services and stuff, you have much more room to play with that. And usually the only difference oftentimes is the price that you ask for, or the kind of pitch that you do, or how done for you make the offer seem. Usually the more hands-free an offer is, the more you can charge. So that I think is one of the easiest ways to double your sales. Another way, just a third way to throw out there, is to look for possible partnerships and stuff too. So you might not be the best at marketing, or you might not be the best at sales, or whatever it is. And what you can do is find a person whose strength is your weakness, and their weakness might be your strength, and do partnerships with them, or just find other places that you can do either like white label deals with or joint venture deals with, and just reach out to them. But instead of basically saying, hey, will you be my affiliate and make me a ton of dough, think of how you can benefit them. If you basically position it where you basically show all the value that you can bring to them and make it about them instead of you, you'll make a lot more, because the majority of people out there focus too much on themselves. And when they approach basically a partner or like a white label partner or anything like that, the majority of people tend to sound like this. Hey, I have a super easy sales idea for you. If you sell my stuff, I'll give you a 10% cut. You don't have to do anything, and you'll make tons and tons and tons of money by only sending a simple email. And it's a great deal because you make either nothing or 10%. That's what a lot of people do, and that's the crappiest sales pitch ever. Because the person receiving that says, so I'm giving you a 90% cut and making the sale, and you think that's a good deal. So I'm basically giving you 90% of what I make from the sale that I made because of me, and you think that's a good deal. They won't even respond back to you oftentimes because it's a laughable offer. Whereas, if you approach them and say, hey, I have a cool product here that I think would line up really well with yours here. I see that you have these products that are really great, but you seem to not have this right here. If you're interested, I can make you a white label version. You can call it your own. You can market it any way you want. I'll do all the support, all the updates, all the maintenance, everything. I'll have it be completely hands-free for you. And you can get a 75% cut of every sale, making it completely hands-free for you. At that case, a person says, wow, gee, you know, this person actually researched me a bit. They see that, you know, this product might line up really well. I can sell it in my own name. I can brand it in my own name. I don't have to do any support or everything. I can make the majority of that sale there, and I don't have to do any work. I just have to send a handful of emails occasionally or add this to my backend. That sounds like a really awesome deal at that point. And there's a handful of these guys that can make you a lot of sales in the long run that oftentimes people completely ignore because they only want to basically give out a tiny cut because they think because they made, you know, their product that they should get almost all those sales. And that's kind of a bad mentality to basically have. So with that, we're going to move on now to a live demo of a new feature we have inside of one of the WebFire tools right there. I just want to show it off real quick and make you aware of the stuff that we had. And we can go from there. All right, so the tool I'm talking about is the Video Firestorm one, which is inside of WebFire. You just go to the content one right here, then you go to Video Firestorm, and it will ask you if you want to upload a current one of yours, or if you want to do a text to video one. Then you just click on text to video, and you go to this right here. So we've had this before, but we made a handful of changes to it, and some are really, really neat. The first one is all the text that you basically enter by default will be completely centered. You can change that. That's all up to you. And as always, you can take any article you have and you can copy and paste it in here, or if you use the spinner inside here, you can pick any one there and it will automatically turn it into a video, or you can write it out line by line. So each line counts as a slide. So if you have multiple sentences in one line, that would be a slide, or you could have, like, you know, one sentence per slide. That's all up to you. Add info I want here. Add. All right. So you can make this. In this case, this would be a 3-slide video essentially. You can also change right here. You can change the font, the size. I like to usually do like a large size like that. Then in this case, let's make the font white. Do like a white font. At least I think that's white. Close to. And then for the background, we'll make the background red. And what you can also do, of course, you know, if you have your own background, you can upload those too. In this case, I just made basically a basic one. What's really neat, the major change we made right here is basically 2 things. One, we added a ton of human-like voiceovers that you can choose from, including ones of different accents and languages and stuff too. So I'll try to turn up my speaker here so you can hear them. So it has male and female voices as well as kids. Like, you know, here's Matthew here, which we can listen to.
Hello, my name is Matthew.
And there's different accents for, you know, each one.
Hello, my name is Sally.
You can also have, there's also a British accent.
Hello, my name is Amy.
So if you want to sound like you're a Harry Potter character, you can use these guys. Or if you want to be an Aussie.
Hello, my name is Nicole.
Or if you want to do it in Spanish.
Hola, mi nombre es Penelope.
Or French.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Mathieu.
Or German.
Hallo, mein Name ist Hans.
So you can add any of those that you want. Just check right there. You don't have to do a voiceover. That's completely up to you right there. But I just found that kind of cool right there. Then you just click create slides, and it will create basically a preview. And if you want to change any of this, like let's say you basically added a bunch of lines and you're like, whoa, that's like a lot of text in one slide. You can click on any of those and change those around right there. Just click right there, and then it just goes back to that slide right there, and you can change whatever you want right there. So super easy. If you want to change the background for each one, you can too. I just did like a very simple version of this right here. So it's a quick way to create like a little video. Then what you do after that, you click the green button that says step 2, ready, make video, and then it will process essentially the video. Then it can take several minutes to basically do so. Usually the servers have it so like every 15 minutes it processes like all of the videos in queue right there, and then after that's done, it will ask if you want to submit it. And when you submit it, it will basically have a chance for you to enter in the title, the keywords, the description, and all that right there. And you want to make sure, of course, that the keyword you're trying to rank for is somewhere in the title. You want to make sure you also probably mention it in the description. You can add links in the description and stuff too. Keywords that you're trying to rank for, you can also add in the keyword tags. Then you just submit it, and you can post that on YouTube and such right there. So a little new feature right there, and a couple things that are in the works that should be done probably within a few days to a week or so. We're also working on a way where if you want to record your own voice, we're working on a way to add that into this new one here. So you can record that in basically on the fly. Currently, you can have your own voice on one. You just would have to upload basically the video yourself, but we're making an easy way to do that right here. And we're also adding a way where if you want to have a slide that is just, let's say, a picture and doesn't have any text, but you want the human-like voiceover to say some text, we're basically also adding a feature in where you can do that. So let's say you want to have a picture of like a car, but you don't want any text on it, but you want it to basically talk about a car. You could have the voiceover talk about the car by basically writing the text out that you want the slide to say, even if the text isn't on the slide. So we're working on that as well, which should be out shortly too. So that's a pretty cool thing right there that I just want to make you guys aware of. And then we're also doing probably by next week on Social Poster, we should have LinkedIn basically added as an option right there, so you can automatically post to and update LinkedIn, as well as, of course, right now it can do Facebook and Twitter and such. So you can automatically do management of that. We're basically adding LinkedIn in there as well. So just thought I'd mention that, and once that's out, I'll go through that one as well. So just thought I'd mention those, and I'm just gonna basically go right back to the slide, and we can wrap this up and give some cash away. Oh, and as a side note, guys, I want to mention 2 things as well. So let me just get the slide up. All right. But first, of course, if you have any questions that we missed or anything like that, you can feel free to ask those now, and we'll give the cash away right after. But just want to make 2 quick announcements. Because I see there's a couple guys asking some questions I want to clarify on 2 things. So first, we've had some questions on 2 different video offers that we have and what basically the differences were, and we reopened those just for today if you're interested. So there's 2 ones that we have. The newest one is the top one right here. It's latestinnovativeproducts.com/CRV new, and that's where they create like a high quality animated video with like a cartoon or whiteboard or like an animation, and they do an actual voiceover artist, so it's not like Robot One or anything like that. So those are like super high quality ones right there, that not only will they make those for you, they'll actually get those ranked on YouTube on page 1. It's guaranteed to actually be ranked, and it can have basically traffic go to any link that you want. So if you want the call to action to be to a website of yours, to an offer of yours, to an affiliate link, they can do all that right there and do all the work, including writing the script and all that. So that's the first one right there. You can check out that if that's of interest. That's especially good like if you want to show off like a product of yours And you want to have like a video of it that you want to test on Facebook, or you want to throw it up on your site, or you want to get it ranked on YouTube too to make your product look really good. That's an offer you want to see right there. If you're looking to create like a lot of videos with like simple answers to questions and stuff and get those ranked, the second offer right here could be for you. Those are basically cheaper type videos that are customized and also ranked, but usually that's like, it's a simple video that they make to like try to rank for various keywords in your niche. And those ones will either be silent or have one of the robot voiceovers, because they're much cheaper to basically do that. That's why it's basically a cheaper offer there. But if you have like, let's say you have a niche on how to grow, organic food and stuff, and you want to like rank for like 10 different organic type terms, on YouTube, that would be the kind of offer that you'd go to right there, where they would either answer questions or basically target various keywords and stuff that you're trying to rank for right there. So those two offers we have up for the rest of the day. If you want to check out those are the links right there. So make sure to go to those, and Sharon can post those in the chat box. And I did see that there was a person asking about if they could get back into WebFire and what that link was if they want to sign up for that. So I basically added that on right here. To get the deal that we have on WebFire, I know most of you are members of that right now, but there's a few that are not. If you want to go straight to the sales page and not see the replay, you can go to getwebfire.com/deal. If you want to see a replay where you see basically a demo of all the tools, or not all of them, but a lot of them, you can go to getwebfire.com/WF, and that will have the replay up there. And Sharon can post those in the chat box as well, because I know there was at least one or two that have asked that. So I just thought I made a quick slide here to throw up those for you guys. And of course, with that, if you now it's time to give some cash away. If you want a chance to win $100 cash, all we have to do is go to our free Facebook group at getwebfire.com/FB group. That will forward to the Facebook group. If you're not yet a member of that, just click join. It is free. And Sharon has a post at the very top from today, about probably like an hour ago, asking what you thought on today's call. If you just want to post a comment there, or if there's any other topics that you'd like to see basically covered in the future, let us know there as well. And I know there's a handful of others that will basically address on some future calls as well, but just let us know what you thought, or any comments at all, and we'll pick a random one in a couple minutes here to be this week's $100 winner that we will PayPal you on the spot. So with that, Sean, as they do that, were there any other kinds of questions or anything that you saw basically pop up while I was talking?
Yeah, there were a lot of questions, but I got them all answered so far. Awesome. People are very excited about being able to sound like Harry Potter, even the people that I know are British, oddly enough. So
I like that part.
I thought you would. I thought you would, having actually been to the latest Harry Potter play in London even. But we did get all the questions answered. If there's any questions anybody had, please pop them in real quick, and then we'll do that and get you guys answered up and wrapped up. Since we're running a little bit long today, we'll put things together and we'll get going along here. In the meantime, go to the web page, the Facebook page, and post up and be able to do that. Thank you, Yaya. Appreciate that. All right, I guess there's no more questions.
All right.
One question that somebody had, and other people might have had, Brian, was like the video Firestorm update and the other updates, do they have to like reconnect or do anything different to get access to that?
Nope. You just have to click on it from within the members area.
right, good. And April had a question about the scheme, using the schema tool. Which markup does she use? The local business site wide or local business or site wide for each page?
Well,
I think she missed a couple words in that question, but.
All right. Well, first, it depends on what page or what web page you're trying to use it on. So I assume that you are a local business or you have a client that is one, because that would be the only way that you would want to pick, the local business. But if you are a local business, you would want to do the local business one as well as the site-wide one. So you can have more than one on a site. And we show an example in the preview area of what it looks like. So you'd pick all the ones that would be relevant to you. So in the case of a local business, you for sure would want to have the local business one. You would also want to have, let me just look. In fact, I'll just, let me go in WebFire and just show you, because it'll probably be a lot easier than talking on it all. So if you were a local business, you'd want to do this one right here, the local business, and you'd also would want to do the navigation one. So you could have multiple web pages show up on your site in Google like this, and you could also have the local one where you can show up and be kind of like that, or depending upon the type of business you are, you'd look something along more those lines right there. So in that case, you'd want to do both of those, and you can add multiple ones into any site you have. Of course, don't be like like if you're not a blog, don't pick the blog one. If you're not a local business, don't do the local business one. That won't help you. So hopefully that makes sense.
Made sense to me.
All righty.
Good. That's, I think, every question. So let's give away some money and we'll roll.
All right. Let me just pop up the pages right here. I'll refresh it really quick. All right. So I'll give you guys maybe 10 more seconds to leave a comment right here. It would be in this one that's posted an hour ago from Sharon. You just leave a comment right there. I'll count ones that posted outside too. I see there's a couple of you. In the future, try to post it inside, because it just makes it a lot easier to actually count and do the giveaway. So I'll give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now I'll count the ones outside first, because that will be easier. All right. All right, we have 1, 2, 3 plus 46, so 49. I hope the Potter one wins, because I like that. It's funny. I have a daughter that heard that voice, and we had to laugh at it prior. So all right, so 49, 1 to 49. What one do you think the winner will be, Sean?
9.
9. All right, let's see. 39.
Oh, I was close on that. I had one of the digits.
39. You had half of it right. All right. So 39. So if there's 46 right here, just in this one, let's count backwards. 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40. So the one above would be the winner. 39. So Ryan Koblaza, if that looks like you, sounds like you, and you share the same name, and you have kids that dressed as cops and firemen at some point, congratulations. You are $100 richer, or you will be, as soon as you post up your PayPal email inside the chat to Sharon. So she'll get that over to you right away. So again, congratulations to Ryan Koblaza for being this week's Wednesday Marketing webinar winner. So you'll get $100 PayPal over to you as soon as you post up your PayPal info to Sharon. So she'll get that off to you shortly this afternoon. So once again, congratulations. And if you have any questions or anything at all, you can always write us at support@webfire.com, or inside the members area, there is a help desk right there. And of course, if you have any ideas for future calls or anything like that, you can feel free to ask us, or mention it, and we'll try to do some future calls on the stuff that you guys suggest. So with that, we hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you next week, Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So with that, take care, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.